Now then folks, sorry I'm out of breath again, but it doesn't take much to get me out of breath these days. So just a quickie, my no dig asparagus. So I'm just giving them a little spruce over, a little top up of compost, because this is no dig, so a little top up of compost, topping up the wood chips paths in between the rows. So as you can see here, I've done some. So all I've done is I'm actually using just my old tatey compost. I've just when you tip your taters out, put the compost back in your buckets and use them around the allotment. So these two I've done with the potato compost and then wood chips. This one, I think it must have been carrots or leeks, but there's still enough goodness, because all you're doing is you're topping them off, you're capping any weed seeds, you're giving them a bit of a feed with the goodness in your compost. Because although it's spent compost, it's last year, basically I do my compost in bays, and I'll usually have one full of manure, one full of compost, and then at the end of the year, when they're both sort of settle down halfway, I did a video not that long ago actually, the big dig. I just dig them both out and put them back in together and let them rot down again for another few months, so you get a super amazing fertile compost. So my spuds last year, I used, some were full just that compost, some were 50-50 compost, bought from Morrison's cheap stuff, and some of the compost out there. So they've had potatoes in them, but there's still tons, and also it's different nutrients. Different plants take different nutrients out of the soil once the organisms have broken it all down. So you're absolutely fine using spent compost, because like I say, it's a top dressing, it's a little bit of feed, but more importantly capping in weed seeds and stuff like that. So the wood chips paths in between, so there's another one there. So this, like I say, this one's got a bit of sand in it, but it doesn't matter. So I'm just doing the soil. Sorry, I keep waving my hand about like a loony. I'm doing the soil first and then the wood chips. So I've just got this last one to cap off, and I've weeded any little weeds, any bits of grass, any bits of crud. I've done that, and I've pulled out leaves and bits of crap out of the paths. So I'll come back in a minute when it's done. Right folks, so as you can see, that's all tidied up and topped up, ready for next year. Some people have asked me about like that, you know, putting fresh bark, chipping down for things like this, because you know the roots will come out and go in underneath the path, but the chippings that are in, they've been down a year, they've started to compost. You never ever mix fresh chippings into your ground, because when the compost down, they take nitrogen out of the soil to break down, so the plant, you know, it takes it away from the plants. You only ever put composted, fully finished composted material dug in, because if you put the composting process uses nitrogen to break down the carbon, you know, and it's, if you're putting that in, it will take it out of the soil. So that's why excuse me, you know, these lasagna no dig beds, they don't really work probably for a few years. You know, you can put crops in that will grow along the top. Sorry, I'm wandering around there. You put crops in that grow at the top, at the surface, because you usually cap it with a couple of inches of compost, of good compost or good soil. But anything that's got to go down deep, it's not going to get the full nutrients. So it's not for a year until it's all composted and mixed together with worms that a lasagna type raised bed works. And you can, that's just not me spouting, you can look, there's loads of people that have done it and they've said, you know, first year isn't quite as good as what they expected. And that's where it is. If you bury material that needs to compost, it takes nitrogen out and nutrients out of the ground. So waffling on there, but that's ready. Just a quick update on the no dig asparagus. This sort of fleece stuff, netting that I put over my little kale, it's long enough. I think I'm going to pull it all the way across this and cover this in just to stop birds digging in it and rabbits digging in it, just stop stuff and Nelly going in it. You'll laugh here, I'll just show you Nelly. She's dropped a ball down the side there, so she'll be there all day if I leave her. It's under a stone and she's quite happy there. Oh, sorry to grab the bug. It's a bit boggy down there. So folks, like I say, just a quick video on what I do with my no dig asparagus. Remember, this is only the second year. If you want to know how I did it, you can look back. There's video on how I did them. I grew them in pots for a year, like them. In fact, they were them pots. Grew them in pots for a year to build up the root system, and then this bed was probably a foot lower down, and I just sat them there in the rows, 4 in a row, nicely spaced apart, and then I just mounded the soil around them so there was no dig, and then in between the where the mounds were, sorry, where it went like that, I just filled it with wood chip for paths. So that's that. Right, thank you very much folks. So just a quickie and ta-ta for now. What a lovely sunny day.